Hey everyone, so a lot of you guys requested a part 2, so I'm going to go ahead and jump onto my YouTube section and answer a few more questions for you guys. They're all going to be hair related, so let's get right into this video. So the first question comes from Kalanwa. Not sure how to pronounce her name, but so basically what she's saying is that she put in a weave and her scalp is itching, and she has tried moisturizing it with a mix of water and conditioner and oils, and she's seeing no difference, and she wants some advice on how to stop the itch. So personally, I don't wear weave. I've worn braids and stuff. That's completely different to a sew-in. For what I've seen, those who have sew-ins and how they take care of it, I've seen people actually wash their hair while it's in a sew-in. I don't really know how that works. I don't know how you would dry that. I'm guessing that you could use a blow dryer, but how would you get to the actual scalp? So you guys gotta help me out here because I don't know much about wearing sew-ins. So if you guys can answer the question down below, if you have experience with sew-ins and itchy scalp, were you able to wash it? How are you able to deal with the itchy scalp while wearing a sew-in? So the next question comes from Monica, and she wants to know how she can make her hair shine and grow. She's allergic to shea butter, coconut oil, and olive oil. So her hair has stopped growing since she went to the dermatologist. She takes her hair out and it's itching for days. When it comes to hair growth, you definitely want to have a healthy hair regimen. I've done tons of videos on how to build a regimen. I'll definitely link that down below. I share all the products that you can use, all the tools that you can use, and step-by-step instructions on how to do everything. So definitely link that down below for you. When it comes to shine, I definitely lacked shine and luster for years, and I still do in a sense. Now that I'm pregnant, I'm getting all those benefits, but without the pregnancy, I definitely would not have shiny hair. And the way that I personally add shine to my hair is by using oil. But you're saying that you're allergic to certain oils. The one that you didn't mention that I really do like is grapeseed oil, and I also really like avocado oil and also argan oil. So maybe you can try those ones out for shine. When it comes to growth, genetics could definitely be playing a part in why your hair isn't growing to a certain length. Also, maybe your hair regimen is not working with your hair. So you definitely maybe want to switch out some products, try something different. Maybe you need to try a different routine. Maybe your hair is just breaking. So maybe you got to figure out what is causing your hair to break. So if you are allergic to coconut oil and all those other oils that you listed, you probably want to check the ingredients in some of your products, because if you're allergic to coconut oil is in a lot of hair products. Maybe that it could be stunting your growth. It's causing breakage, because if you're allergic to it and it's in a product that you're using, like your shampoo, your conditioner, you are definitely causing more damage to your hair. So I would definitely stop using anything that contains coconut oil. So next question comes from Charlena. She wants to know how you can stop hair shedding and breakage. So I got that question a lot about the shedding. Shedding is normal. It's very, very normal. When you have excessive shedding, like handful of hair, then that's not normal, and you definitely need to get that checked out. But normal shedding is we lose about 50 to 100 strands a day. That's normal. So let's say, for example, you don't wash your hair for an entire week. So every single day you lose about 50 to 100 strands a day. So let's just say 50 strands of hair times 7 days. That's a lot of hair. So by the time wash day comes around, you're gonna have a lot of hair in your hands. It's normal, very, very normal for you to lose hair. That is just how it works. We lose the old strands so that new ones can come in, stronger, healthier ones come in. Yeah, so it's very normal. So I wouldn't worry too much about shedding. Unless you're losing like chunks of hair, then something's definitely wrong. I know people like to do black tea rinses for shedding. I haven't done that in years, since, oh my gosh, years. What else do people do for shedding? I'm not even sure. I definitely have to do more research on that. But when it comes to breakage, I feel like it comes with hair growth. Our hair definitely will break. There's definitely ways to avoid breakage. Moisture is definitely one. Having a protein and moisture balance regimen is going to play a big part in keeping your hair from breaking. And that is a whole video on its own. And the best way to figure that out is to figure out whether or not you have high porosity, normal, or low. So again, that's a whole nother video on its own. I have videos on moisture and protein balance, and I have videos on low porosity, high porosity, normal porosity. I'll leave those linked down below. So for me, for example, I'll use myself as an example. I have low porosity hair. My hair is very stubborn. It takes very long for it to get wet. It takes long to dry. It doesn't let moisture in very easily, but once you do figure it out, you're set. So once that moisture's in for a good, almost a whole week. Someone who has high porosity hair, their hair loses moisture very, very quickly. It gets wet very quickly, it dries very quickly. It's the opposite of low porosity. People like to say that high porosity hair is damaged hair, but I don't think it is. There's ways to work around it. Just like low porosity hair, there's ways to work around it. So once you figure out whether you have high or low or normal, you can figure out whether or not you need more protein or more moisture. With low porosity hair tends to be protein sensitive, so you don't want to use too much protein on low porosity hair. Low porosity hair, they call it healthy hair. It's the hair that doesn't need a whole lot of protein. Now, high porosity hair needs a little bit more protein because I think they say that the cuticles are open and protein helps to kind of secure that. So yeah, it's a lot of information for someone that is new. But again, I do have videos on all of that. For someone who doesn't know anything about anything I just said, try just moisturizing your hair more. Deep conditioning with every wash. So every wash day, deep condition your hair, put on a plastic cap for about 30 minutes, and then rinse it out. Then once it's rinsed out, you know, you detangle and all of that, you moisturize. You moisturize your hair with a leave-in, then a moisturizer, or, you know, a regular like cream or custard or whatever, and then you seal it all in with an oil. But again, your moisturizing and your sealing routine goes hand in hand with whether or not you are high, low, or normal porosity. So the next comment, it's not really a question, but it comes from Christabel, and she's talking about her edges, and she feels naturally she doesn't have much hair on her edges, and this baby is moving a lot. So she feels that her edges are very, very fine, and naturally she doesn't have a lot of hair there. And she feels like it makes hairstyles look incomplete. And I definitely can understand where she's coming from, because I personally watch a lot of YouTube videos where a lot of girls focus on, the baby hairs and slicking them back and making sure they swooped and all that. So I understand how it could feel if you don't have much and you can't do all the little swooping and all that. I definitely will say that when I don't do my baby hairs, my edges, my hairstyle can look a little, not as nice as someone who took the time to do the edges. Back to her comment, she wants to know, what she can do to make it more full. Unfortunately, if you naturally have fine edges or, no edges at all, there's not a whole lot that you can do about that, because that goes back to genetics. People in your family probably have the same issue. I'm not sure what you can do about that. Some people will have full edges. A lot of people like to tell me that I have very full edges and ask, how do I make them so full? This is naturally how they are. This is how it grows out of my head. I don't do anything different to the rest of my hair, to the front of my hair. It's all the same. I use the same products throughout my whole entire head. This is just naturally how they are. I know I've seen a few people actually bring down some of their other hair and kind of turn it into their edges. I've seen people cut their hair and make edges. I'm not saying to do that. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but I would say maybe try bringing down a little bit of your, longer hair to the front. Don't cut it, just bring it down a little bit and swoop it into your edges. I don't know if any of you guys can recommend what you can do. I definitely wouldn't want you to cut your hair just to get some edges, but try bringing down hair that's already there and make some edges. So the next question comes from Myrna. I don't know how to say her name, but she wants to know how to preserve a rod set, twist out, perm rod set on transitioning hair. I can only get 1 day out of it. It probably could be the products that you're using. For me, when I was transitioning, I think I used gel. Gel was really good when it came to holding a hairstyle. Gel and mousse. But before you just grab any old gel or any mousse and mix it with your products, you gotta test it out in your hand first, because not everything will mix well together. And the way you can figure this out is that you put a little bit of your, your moisturizer in your hand and a little bit of the gel, you mix it with your finger, And if you see it starts turning into white clumps, those two products do not go well together, and it's going to leave residue on your hair. So if you mix it together and it's nice and creamy and smooth, then those two products work. Gel and mousse are perfect when it comes to doing styles that you want to last. Also, doing your styles on damp or wet hair helps them to last. And then at nighttime, you definitely want to throw on a silk or satin bonnet or scarf. Also, the pineapple method, where you put all your hair at the top of your head, that helps your hair to last as well. Humidity definitely plays a role in whether or not your hair is going to last. If you live in a hot place, your curls won't last as long as someone who's living in a cold place like me. I live in Toronto and it's very cold, so my styles will last a very, very long time. Also, if you have high porosity hair, your hair will not last as long as someone who has low porosity hair that is very stubborn, which is what I have. So my styles last me a very long time. So yeah, that is some of the ways that you can preserve a twist out perm red set and any out styles. So next question comes from Kennedy, and she wants to know, how do you know if you have moisture or protein overload? I believe I had moisture overload years ago, and this is how I knew I had moisture overload. So when you have moisture overload, your hair will feel very limp, very gummy, and it'll feel very gross when it's wet. It'll be very, what is it, stretchy. Like it will be like a rubber band that won't break. So it would just be like this. That's how my hair felt. It felt like mush in my hands. It was very, very disgusting. That is a sign of moisture overload. Now, protein overload, your hair tends to feel very dry and it just breaks. It just snaps and breaks. It has no elasticity to it. So if you were to take a wet strand of hair and hold it between your fingers and go like this, it would just snap. So another really good way to figure out whether you have moisture overload or protein overload is to take a strand of wet hair, hold it between your two fingers, and lightly pull it. So your hair is supposed to, you know, stretch but snap back into its normal state. Now, if you have protein overload and you take that strand and you stretch it and it just breaks without even stretching, you have too much protein in your hair and you need to start using more moisturizing products. If you have moisture overload, your hair is just going to stretch and stretch and stretch and eventually break. But it's going to stretch so much that it just means that it has way too much moisture and not enough protein. You do not want to have too much of either one because it's not good. Your hair will suffer. And with moisture overload, you want to add protein into your regimen. For me, for example, I did experience moisture overload. What I did, I used the two-step treatment by Aphogee. I don't even know if it's still around. It's been so long, but that's what I use. I even have a tutorial on how I used it and how I was able to get my hair back to normal. So I'll leave that link down below as well. Or you can just go through my channel and you'll find it. Okay, so I'm gonna answer two more questions. The next one comes from Winnie, and she wants to know, how she can straighten her hair and make it actually look straightened. I've had this issue where I straightened my hair and it looked like I just blow dried it. So what I realized after getting it done professionally is that I was using too much product. When I went to the hairdresser, this is pretty much what she did. She shampooed and conditioned, and I think she used like a light leave-in, and then that was it. Then she used a heat protectant. Then she went on to blow dry my hair, and then she flat ironed. So she didn't use a whole lot of products like what I did. I had shampoo, condition, leave-in, moisturizer, oil, and a heat protectant. I would use 6 different things and then go ahead and blow dry and flat iron, and then my hair would just look like a big poof ball because there was too much product. The heat really couldn't get to the strands. So you want to use less product when you're going to flat iron. So that's the best tip that I can give you. What I will say before flat ironing, you want to deep condition your hair. Maybe even a light protein treatment would be good. And after you flat iron your hair and you're ready to wash it, I would definitely suggest deep conditioning again and get that protein back into the hair strands. So the next question comes from Bestie. I think that's how you say her name. She wants to know, I guess, she just wrote twist out or braid out. So I'm guessing she wants to know what's my favorite. I mean, I think most of you guys know this. I probably did a braid out maybe once on this channel. I've been on YouTube for about 8 years and I probably did it like once, twice. I've probably did like 100 twist out tutorials, so there it is. Twist out is definitely hands down my absolute favorite to do. It's very easy to put in and very easy to take out. Braids are annoying to me, and I also don't like how they look on my hair texture. I have never liked braid outs on my curly hair. When I was relaxed, I loved doing braid outs because it created so much texture, so much curl definition, while twist outs really didn't do anything for me. But now that I'm natural, twist outs, hands down, over a braid out any day. I'll do a twist out any day. So as you can see, I'm rocking twist, and it's been almost a week. I would rather wear this versus braids on my natural hair. So let me know about you guys. What would you choose, twist out or braid out? I know a lot of people prefer braid outs. I don't know, I'm just not a braid out girl. Okay, so a bestie asked a lot of questions. Let me just answer one more first, because she asked about maybe 6. So let me just answer one more. She wants to know if pills can help your hair grow and if you would recommend them. Do you have any favorites? So that's actually 3 questions. So pills, I hear that pills can make your hair grow, like, you know, Hair Affinity, you have Buntyn, you have the hair, skin, nail ones. There's definitely pills out there that can help you grow your hair, but the main ingredient that helps with hair growth is biotin. I did attempt to use biotin like years ago. I don't even know if I ever talked about this, but I did years ago. I took it maybe for 1 day and it made me sick, very, very sick, and I never touched it ever again. But I've seen a lot of people recommend it, a lot of people use it, and they've had really, really good results, so I guess they can. Would I recommend any? Personally, no, because of my experience with them. I didn't have a good experience, but like I said, I've seen lots of people rave about it and they love it and they have good results, so I'm sure there's a lot out there. Yeah, so that is it for the questions. Again, if you would like me to do a part 3, I definitely can, but that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Again, make sure that you guys check out the description box. I have tons of videos down there for you guys that are helpful and relate to the questions that I was answering. And make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel. Leave a comment, questions, whatever you want, suggestions, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.